Hello boys and girls, we're going to think about time today. So if we think about time, that's when things happen, isn't it? So I wonder if you know what time of day you get up out of your bed. That's in the morning. And then there's a time of day when you have your lunch, which is about in the middle of the day. And I wonder if you know what time you go to bed. That's in the evening, isn't it? Getting towards night time. So there's lots of different times, and we're especially going to think about our clock today. So I've got a little clock here, and it's got some special names and different parts of the clock. So clocks can be different shapes, but lots of clocks are circles, they're round, aren't they? And because a lot of clocks are round, this part of the clock, the main bit, I'm turning the hands around, is called the face, because faces are round. So although not all clocks are round, we call this part the face. And if we have a look on the clock, we can see that there's numbers on the clock. Should we have a look what numbers there are? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And on a clock, an analog clock like this, we always have 12 numbers. So we never have less and we never have more. There's always 12 numbers. And they're always in the same place on the clock. So the 12 is always at the top, and the 6 is always at the bottom, and the 3 is always on the right, and the 9 is always on the left. And the numbers have a special place on the clock. Now, another thing that we have on the clock is these long things here. And we call these hands. I don't know why they're called hands. They look more like fingers, really, don't they? Because they're pointing. But these are called hands. And you can see that one of them is longer than the other one. So this one is a long hand, a big hand. And this one is shorter. It's a little hand. And they move on the clock and point to different numbers. So the long hand is called the minute hand, and that tells us how many minutes pass. And the short hand is the hour hand, and that tells us what hour of the day it is. So let's have a look at some different times. Now, when the big hand points at the top, all the way up on the 12, that means it's something o'clock, something o'clock. And the little hand tells us what hour it is. So when I've got the big hand pointing at the 12 and the little hand pointing at the 5, that time is 5 o'clock. And if I move the little hand, point to another number, now this time, oops, flipped, I'll move it back, hold it in the right place. The big hand's still pointing at the 12, so it's still an o'clock time, and the little hand is pointing at, what number is that? It's number 3. So that time is 3 o'clock. If I point my little hand to a different number, the big hand's still pointing at the top, 12, so that's still an o'clock time. The little hand is pointing to 7, so that's 7 o'clock. If I move it around there, can you see what time it is? It's pointing to the 9, it's 9 o'clock. And every time the big hand or the long hand is pointing to the 12, that's an o'clock time. Now, if the big hand goes halfway round the clock, it goes halfway round, if you imagine cutting it in half, it then points at the 6, that time means half past, because it's gone halfway past an hour. So, if I have a look at this time, we can see that the big hand's on a 6, so it's half past, and the little hand has just gone a little bit past the 9, so it's half past 9. If I move my little hand again there, the big hand is on the 6, so it's gone halfway around the clock, so it's half past, and it's gone past the 2, so it's half past 2. We'll just do one more. If I put my little hand pointing there, let's see if we can move that time. The big hand is On the 6 at the bottom, it's gone halfway around the clock, so it's 8:30. So that's how to tell time to o'clock times and 8:30 times. So if you've got some clocks in your house or on someone's watch, you could have a go at looking at some different times and see if you can remember what it means on the big hands on the 12 pointing up and on the 6 pointing down. All right, if you have a good go at it, then don't forget to send some pictures. We'll get your mums and dads to email us to tell us how you're getting on. I'll see you soon. Bye.